Hello everybody and welcome to Lush and Salty Aquariums. My name is Stefan and I appreciate your support of the channel. This is my Oase 20-gallon Cinescaper, I believe that's what they call it. A product line that comes with this killer cabinet with wonderful features. I highly recommend it. It's only now just becoming available in the United States. My local fish shop actually is going to become a retailer. That's Ocean Design Aquarium in northwest side of Chicago, and they're making other inroads into your finer local fish stores everywhere. I recommend these kits. Go to Oase or Living Water USA. Forget the exact URL for their American presence, but they make killer canister filters. That's what they're known for here and around the world, but they expanded first in Europe with these wonderful tanks that are in the same caliber as ADA or UNS. That would make those, you can't go wrong with any of those brands, but it's hard to get as good as the UNS and ADA, and I think Oase did a terrific job. I gave this tank a massive haircut and trim, and that entails pulling out all kinds of wonderful plant as well as not so wonderful plant matter, living and dead. When you have a robust planted tank and a few weeks have gone by, it's unbelievable how much stuff you can pull out of it in between the dragonstone, which I can now see again, and this driftwood. There were so many tendrils from the Hygrophila P, and then I had the stems and back were up and over and flopping all over the top of the water. I had too much frog bit with too long of roots, and everything was merging. Over the holiday, over Thanksgiving, my kids, really everybody kept saying, you know, are you a gardener? Or, I mean, where's the fish, dude? And I said, there's got to be 70 in there. Well, we don't see them. So my cue to do some clear cutting of this jungle. That's a horrible analogy, but I pulled out a bucket full of plant matter, and there's still a ton in here, as you can see. But now we get a great view of the green neon tetras, the Beckford's pencilfish, shoaling and schooling. They are very happy together, but they occupy distinct areas, and that's what you want, right? And there's the honey gourami, okay? God, what a beautiful fish for such a small price. And it's one of the few fish that does great as a solo artist, right? Doesn't need band members to feel happy. As a matter of fact, that can be counterproductive for its health in a community tank, especially if you have a couple of males. But one fish with that coloration and at a low price point, I don't have anywhere else in that tank. Maybe this mystery snail. Do I have a representation of that color spectrum? And so that honey gourami just crushes it, being like a flower on a tuxedo, right? The buttoneer. The cherry shrimp are doing great. These are fire red cherry shrimp. You can look at that. Unbelievable, the color of a fire hydrant in a children's book. There's another, and I've got another and another and another, and plenty of babies. There's also some blue dreams in here, and a mono shrimp and pygmy Coreodora, which I don't see the catfish right now, but when I was cleaning, I saw all kinds of fish. Let me show you. So I could not see any of that substrate an hour ago, but look at it now. And the great thing is, it's clean. It is like it looks brand new. I just pulled out, and there you can see the diffuser doing its thing. These are a stainless steel one, and I've been really happy with the performance. But and I don't mean to digress, but if you're going to get stainless steel, bear in mind you can't adjust the height, so make sure you get the right size. But back to the substrate, it is without any sediment or mulm, and I pulled out all kinds of dead plant matter. But you know, in a very healthy tank, the roots do terrific, but they're not like stuck and mushed up together. Somehow the plants are relatively easy to pull out. A little mystery snail. God, those things are otherworldly, huh? But it makes it nice to pull plants knowing you're going to have clean sand, soil, substrate, gravel when you're done. And you know, if you don't have that result, there's a bunch of different reasons. And I don't know, a lot of people like having mulm and detritus in their tank for one reason or another. But I don't, right? I like looking at this and having it be clear and gorgeous. And I think I've achieved that. Now, you know, now for the bad stuff, if bad is the right word. The stem plants in the back, I think that's the Ludwigia repens there. I pulled out all of them, you know, because after 4 or 5 times, I mean, even the famous aquascaper, the Japanese fellow who started this whole hobby, Amano, he said after a few times of cutting the tops, you basically have to pull the whole plant. You can't just keep trimming, because they'll split double stems, and the 2 stems that come from the cutting are not as vibrant or robust as the and it's diminishing return. So I just took the tops right there and planted them into the naked substrate and threw out all the heavily rooted, kind of stocky and leggy bottoms. And I think within a week, these guys will be a couple inches taller with a lot more red, like you see a little bit right there on that top to the left. Now here, I think this is the H-Ra, and I've got bushes on either side. I was debating whether to pull the whole damn thing, but I don't think I'm there with this one. And it's unbelievable what will happen in about a week. That whole top will be crimson red with some yellow sunburst, just like the honey gourami actually. So I'm just gonna leave it because I know what I'm gonna get in a very short time. As a matter of fact, I hope it doesn't grow faster than the stems in the middle, because these need the light and the real estate to achieve their potential. I took out a lot of this frog bit. I call it frog bit. You know, it could be a water lettuce, I forget, but I think it's frog bit. And I trimmed the bottoms so they don't get hung up on the tops of anything else. That'll grow back quickly. Actually, I could pull more of that out if I wanted to. I never know what too much or not enough is. You have to bear in mind, are you blocking the light? Do you have a nitrate problem? You know, those are mitigating factors on how you make your decision. I did not trim the dwarf hairgrass, partly because my legs had cramped up from bending and doing the maintenance, but really mostly I sort of kind of dig it. I did pull a bunch of Christmas moss and weeping moss, which little tendrils will get stuck in here over time, and they start to grow really well. And at first, second, third glance, it looks great, and it is great, but eventually it will overpower the more delicate fronds from the hairgrass, as you see there. Now that's sage that's cut into it, and I could pull all that, but that would create more chaos because it would bring up all the hairgrass with it. And as I said, even with the moss and the hairgrass together, I mean, the carpet, it's clean, it looks good when they're mixed together, but you just want to watch that the moss doesn't overpower its neighbors. It's basically invading their turf. And little strands of moss, when you're cutting, it doesn't float up, it floats down, and it'll find little nooks and crannies in the rocks and everywhere else, but in particular your carpeting plant, and make inroads quickly. So I did that and not trimmed it. I pulled a bunch of moss from those tendrils. When I was doing the cleanup, I found these Anubias petite. I found right behind it a little bit of Buccelandra, and you know, I'd forgotten and I found this Anubias nana, which literally I didn't even see because of that plant right there, the hygrophila, had overtaken it. The cool thing is, even upon discovering it, the leaves are healthy and free from algae, and all the specimens, I look at that thing, I couldn't even see it. So having too many plants doesn't necessarily hurt a damn thing. It's I think aesthetic, plus it's inevitable. You're just gonna have to clean your tank. Even crystal clear, well-maintained ones, you gotta do it, right? And hopefully you have a place to put some of the best plants that you cut, but otherwise, I mean, you do end up throwing stuff out. It just is what it is. I give some away and I'll bring some to swaps, but by and large, I don't have many friends in Chicago that are fish keepers. My wife would say, you don't have many friends in Chicago, period. But I do. I have my fishy friends. I have you guys. but that's, I digress. I just wanted to share with you this lovely tank after a massive haircut. It looks a little bit messed up, as my kids would say. And you know, these bunches here kind of look a little, you know, worse for wear. But as I said, a week from now, it'll be fireworks. Okay, I'm rambling, and you got things to do and other fish keepers to investigate. So thank you again, and always keep your hands in the tank. Ciao for now.